Have you ever sat in a quiet room and wondered how life moves so fast? One day you were rushing to work, raising children, paying bills, making plans, trying to keep everyone together. And then, almost quietly, the house became calmer. The phone rang less. The holidays felt different. The mirror showed a face that had lived through so much, but still carried questions no one could see. And maybe, when no one was around, you asked yourself something very honest. Did I spend my life on the right things? Did I say enough? Did I love enough? Did I forgive soon enough? I asked 100 senior people about their biggest regrets in life. Not as a scientific study. Not as a survey with numbers and charts. Just real conversations with older adults who had lived, lost, worked, loved, raised families, made mistakes, and learned things the hard way. And what I learned was not what I expected. Most of them did not talk first about money. They did not talk first about cars, houses, job titles, or the things people spend half their life chasing. They talked about moments. Phone calls they never made. Words they kept inside. Children they wished they had listened to more. Friends they lost touch with. Dreams they postponed until life became too busy, too hard, or too late. And by the end of this video, you may look at your own life differently. Because sometimes, the biggest lessons after 60 are not about how much time has passed. They are about what you still choose to do with the time in front of you. One woman, 74 years old, told me her biggest regret was not spending more time with her husband while he was still healthy. She said they were married for 48 years. They had a good life. Not perfect, but good. They raised 3 children. They paid off a small home in Ohio. They went to church on Sundays. They argued about bills, groceries, and where to spend Thanksgiving. But she said most of their marriage felt like a long list of responsibilities. There was always laundry. Always work. Always something broken in the house. Always someone needing a ride. Always a reason to say, "We'll take that trip next year." Then one morning, next year never came. Her husband got sick. And suddenly, the things that once felt urgent did not matter anymore. She told me, "I would give anything to sit with him on the porch again and not be in a hurry." Maybe you have felt this too. Sometimes we spend years rushing through the life we once prayed for. We think love will always be there. We think family will always be there. We think there will always be another Sunday dinner, another birthday, another chance to say what needs to be said. But here is what many seniors discover too late. Life does not warn us before ordinary moments become memories. The first regret I heard again and again was this. I wish I had loved people more openly. Not just loving them quietly. Not just assuming they knew. But saying it. Showing it. Calling first. Apologizing first. Hugging a little longer. A retired school bus driver from Georgia told me he had not spoken to his brother for 12 years over a family argument. He said he could barely remember what started it. Something about their father's belongings after he passed. A few angry words became a few silent weeks. Then the weeks became years. One day, his brother died suddenly. And the argument ended, but the pain stayed. He said, "At my age, you realize pride is expensive. It costs more than most people can afford." Before you ignore this, think about your own life for a moment. Is there someone you still think about? Someone you miss, but have not called? Someone you love, but your pride keeps getting in the way? You do not have to fix every relationship. Some relationships are not safe. Some wounds are deep. Some distance is necessary. But if the only thing standing between you and peace is pride, maybe today is the day to put it down. The second regret was quieter, but just as painful. Many seniors said, "I wish I had taken better care of my friendships." This is the part nobody talks about. After 60, loneliness does not always look dramatic. It can look like eating dinner alone while the television plays in the background. It can look like checking the mailbox even when you know nothing important is coming. It can look like waiting for your adult children to call, but not wanting to bother them. It can look like sitting in a church pew, a senior center, or a doctor's waiting room, surrounded by people, but still feeling unseen. One man from Arizona told me he used to have many friends when he was younger. Men from work, neighbors, a couple he and his wife used to play cards with every Friday night. But after retirement, people moved. Some passed away. Some got sick. Some simply drifted. He said, "I thought friendships would take care of themselves. They don't." That line stayed with me. Friendships do not always end because of a fight. Sometimes they end because nobody reaches out. Nobody wants to be the one who seems needy. Nobody wants to say, "I miss you." But many older adults quietly wish someone would say it first. So maybe the small change is simple. Call an old friend. Send a short message. Invite someone for coffee. Join a group, even if it feels awkward at first. Because sometimes, the smallest change after 60 can bring back peace. The third regret was about dreams. And this one surprised me. So many seniors did not regret failing. They regretted never trying. A woman in her late 80s told me she always wanted to paint. Not to become famous. Not to sell anything. Just to paint. But she told herself she was too busy when the kids were young. Then she was too tired. Then she was too old. Then her hands were not as steady. She said, "I kept waiting for the perfect time. I waited my whole life." That hit hard. How many people do that? They wait to travel. Wait to write the story. Wait to learn the instrument. Wait to join the class. Wait to visit the ocean. Wait to say yes to something that makes them feel alive. And then one day, they realize the perfect time was never coming. But here is the hopeful part. It is not too late to begin something small. You may not climb the mountain you dreamed of at 30. But maybe you can still take a walk by the lake. You may not write the whole book. But maybe you can write one page. You may not travel across the world. But maybe you can visit a place nearby that makes your heart feel awake again. Life after 60 is not just about remembering who you were. It is also about discovering what still remains inside you. The fourth regret was about worrying too much. Almost every senior laughed a little when they talked about this. They worried about what neighbors thought. They worried about whether the house looked perfect. They worried about small mistakes. They worried about their children's choices. They worried about money, health, work, family, weather, everything. And many said the same thing in different words. Most of what I worried about never happened. And the things that did happen, worrying did not stop them. That does not mean life is easy. It does not mean older adults do not face real problems. They do. Bills matter. Health matters. Family matters. But there is a kind of worry that steals today without fixing tomorrow. A 79-year-old grandmother from Pennsylvania told me she spent years trying to control everything. Every holiday meal had to be perfect. Every family issue became her burden. Every child's problem became her problem. Then one day, her daughter said, "Mom, we don't need you to fix everything. We just need you to be here." She said that sentence changed her. Because after years of being the strong one, she had forgotten how to simply be present. Maybe you needed to hear that too. You do not have to carry everything. You do not have to solve every problem. You do not have to be useful every minute to be loved. Sometimes your presence is enough. The fifth regret was one of the deepest. Many seniors said, "I wish I had been kinder to myself." They forgave other people. They cared for other people. They made excuses for everyone else. But they carried guilt inside their own hearts for decades. Guilt about parenting mistakes. Guilt about failed marriages. Guilt about not earning more. Guilt about words they said in anger. Guilt about choices they made when they were young and did not know better. One man, 82, told me, "I spent 40 years punishing myself for being human." Think about that. How many older adults are still carrying a younger version of themselves like a heavy suitcase? But the truth is, you made choices with the wisdom you had at the time. Some were good. Some were not. That is being human. And if you are still here, still breathing, still learning, then your story is not only about regret. It is also about grace. You can still say sorry. You can still forgive. You can still soften. You can still become more peaceful than you were before. The final lesson I learned from those 100 seniors was this. Most people do not want a perfect life at the end. They want a life that felt honest. They want to know they loved someone well. They want to know they tried. They want to know they did not let fear make every decision. They want to know they left behind kindness. Not just money. Not just belongings. Not just photos in a box. But kindness. A gentle word. A family story. A recipe. A lesson. A memory of sitting together on a porch, laughing about something small. That is what lasts. So today, no matter your age, ask yourself one simple question. What is one regret I can still do something about? Not 10. Not your whole life. Just one. One phone call. One apology. One walk. One prayer. One visit. One honest conversation. One dream you stopped postponing. One burden you finally put down. Because life after 60 is not over. Life after 70 is not meaningless. Life after loss is not empty forever. There is still love to give. There is still wisdom to share. There is still beauty in slow mornings, old songs, warm coffee, quiet faith, family photos, and the sound of someone saying, "I'm glad you're here." Maybe you cannot change yesterday. None of us can. But you can choose what today means. You can choose to reach out. You can choose to forgive where you can. You can choose to stop waiting for permission to enjoy your own life. And maybe that is the real lesson. The goal is not to reach old age with no regrets. The goal is to reach today with enough courage to live a little more honestly than yesterday. If this message touched your heart, subscribe to Senior Life Chronicles. And in the comments, tell us one lesson life taught you after 60. Your story may help someone else feel less alone. And if there is someone in your life who needs to hear this, share it with them. Because sometimes, one simple message can remind a person that their life still matters.